Welcome to ScrivTalk, everyone. My name is Leanna George. I'm an author and the co-owner of Scrivenings Press, and this is ScrivTalk, our channel where we talk with Scrivenings Press authors about the stories behind the stories so you can find out about the inspiration, the research, and the emotions that went into creating the book. I am so excited today to have one of my very, very dear friends, Teresa Wells, on with us today, as she is going to be talking about her new upcoming book, Seeds of Hope. And so let me tell you just a little bit about Teresa. I won't spill the beans on all the private stuff I know about her. I'll read the formal bio. But there's plenty I could share about what a wonderful person she is. So,
Aw.
Teresa is a former teacher and librarian who treasures a story threaded with redemption and hope. She loves people, history, and studying the Bible. Teresa is a member of Novel Academy and American Christian Fiction Writers Association, where she volunteers behind the scenes, and she most definitely does. She lives in Dallas, right outside of Dallas, with her wonderful family. So, Teresa, welcome to Script Talk.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I was when I knew you were going to be coming up, I was so excited. Um,
Oh,
I
me
mean, we talk
too.
on a weekly basis, but it was like, oh, that means I get to talk to her twice this week. So,
That's right.
that's
Yay.
right. Yeah. So you write historical fiction.
Mm,
This is book two. We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty details. But let's start with just some background about you first. So readers or listeners and watchers can all get to know you a little better. But what
okay.
drew you to writing inspirational historical fiction?
It sounds lame to say this, but it's just who I am. I grew up in a family where every time we took a trip, and it was always driving trips. I didn't fly until I was like in college, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we took driving trips, and every time we saw a historical marker, we stopped.
Mm,
That is who I come from. So
mm. That would make
my
sense.
yeah, yeah. And it was really cool because those historical markers just kind of force your imagination to say, gosh, what would that have been like to see, or what would that have been like to live in those days, or and we visited old forts. We visited a fort right outside of Jacksboro, Fort Richardson, I think, before it was renovated.
Uh-huh.
So it was crumbling. It was a mess. And it was so cool to walk through those buildings because it was like, wow, the last hands that touched this door could
Mm.
have been like a soldier in the mid 1800s. So that's why I write historical.
That's good. That's good. I usually get to those historical markers and I'm like, I read it because I read everything that's in front of me. And then I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Can we go now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my husband's
My
like,
husband is like,
yeah.
do we really have to stop?
And
I
my husband's like,
mean,
let's walk through all this. And I'm like, okay, sure.
yeah.
We are totally opposite. Maybe that's why I write contemporary. So,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
We are. It's okay though. Um,
Yeah.
and never say never. You might write a contemporary, and I might write a historical.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
Stranger things have been known to happen. So,
That's right.
well, now we
Yes.
talked that you have book two coming out, but
Yeah.
book one, I want to give a little spotlight to because it deserves the a little bit of love. Because it had some exciting news come out. But let's talk about the series, Truitts of Texas. How would you
Okay.
introduce the series to someone who hasn't read book one yet?
It is about a family that fell upon hard times, the Truitts. They lived in Georgia, very prosperous, comfortable, not filthy rich, but prosperous.
Mhm.
Had no wants until one day when everything is gone. And their only option is to take not really a handout, but take the offer of a of his brother who says, "Okay, we'll just come to Texas and you can work for me,
Mm.
and you can work on this farm that I've got. That's just you can get it in running condition for me." When they get there, it is horrible. It is like a nightmare, and they're like, "What did we do? What did we do?" So there are, at the time, there's four kids.
Hmm.
So the parents are in their 40s, four kids, and then one is born to them. So I would love to do a story about each one of them because they're vastly different from each other.
Yeah.
And in the first one, it's the oldest girl, not the oldest child, but the oldest girl, Delia. And then Seeds of Hope is Rab's story.
Okay. Now,
So
the interesting thing about book one, before we talk about all the awards it's won, is it was based on something of your grandmother, wasn't it? The crazy quilt
my grandmother's people.
people.
Well, okay. So two different family lines. The crazy quilt that is so much a part of this story was inspired by my great grandmother's
Okay.
crazy quilt,
Okay.
a real one. It was small, but when I saw it, when that grandmother showed me what her mother-in-law had done, she said, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, I want it." Oh, and so I've just treasured it ever since. And that's how I knew about crazy quilts because a lot of people have not heard
Mm,
about
I
crazy quilts.
hadn't.
They're
No.
very
Yeah,
different.
definitely.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah.
not a quilter.
No,
No, that's okay. Neither am I.
no, I'm not. I love to cross stitch.
Hmm.
Founded cross stitch is something that I've really enjoyed. But yeah, no, me and sewing, we don't really get along. But
Yeah, me neither. Don't worry. Nor cooking, nor cleaning. So my children say domestic is not a word we would use to describe you, Mom.
and that's okay.
And that's okay. So, but no, trust me, we don't live in filth, in case anybody's wondering. So let's talk about your first book, What Brings Us Joy specifically, because yay to you, it won the Holt Medallion for Best First Book and Long Inspirational. So, what did that recognition mean to you?
Oh my goodness. It made so much of, I guess, any career that you are just getting started at. You feel like a pretender a lot of times. I know I did
Yep.
and often do when things aren't going well with writing. So that took me from really grabbing onto, I'm just a pretender. What am I really doing here? This, this is beyond me. I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. To, okay, mm, maybe this is something I should be doing. So, yeah, it makes me feel like more of a professional.
Mm,
So it's like God is saying, I really do want you to do this.
yeah.
You may not be the best writer in all the world, the best selling writer in all the world, but this is something for you to do.
Oh, love that. I love that. Well, congratulations. So excited
Thank
for
you.
you. Um,
Mhm.
so we talked a little bit about what brings us joy. It's Delia's story. It's about some crazy quilts and of course some other things, not just about that. But it's a beautiful story and I hope people will pick it up. But as readers who love what brings us joy, look forward to what do they look forward to as they return back to Blooming Grove in Seeds of Hope?
I've had a lot of people say, well, I mean, did you answer the questions? And I was like, oh, I thought I answered the questions at the end of What Brings Us Hope. What questions are you still asking? And most of the time I had to do with Sallie and
Mm,
how she was doing. And most assuredly, I have answered that question because this takes up with Sallie
mm,
after the rather unfortunate ending for her in that book.
yeah.
So they're just really curious as to what became of her. Well, she's doing very well.
That's
But
good.
it's been a struggle.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, now we obviously from the beautiful book cover that you've revealed, um, Rab is the main spotlight in this.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of Sally, but it is Rab in this story.
Yeah.
This is his story.
Yeah.
And so what made Rab the right character to step into the spotlight for book two?
I think because of the relationship Delia and Rab had,
Hmm.
they're like frenemies. Yeah, well, I mean, it's siblings,
Sure. Yeah.
sibling rivalries, and but don't you dare say anything about my brother,
Right.
or
Yep.
don't you dare say anything about my sister. That fierce love at times, hate, resentment, all of that.
Sure.
But he was such a big part of that book. I thought, well, the spotlight has to shift to him, and he was a lot of fun to
Mhm.
write
Yeah.
in that book. So yeah, I just wanted it spotlight on him, which is where he always wanted to be anyway.
Sure.
He's a spotlight kind of guy.
I love that. I love that. Well, without giving too much away, what is the heart of Seeds of Hope?
I think the heart of it, well, besides hope, hope is the heart of it, but anything is possible with God.
Mm, that's true. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
amen.
yeah, and I think that from the beginning to the end, the possibilities, both Rab and Sallie and their separate journeys could not did not have a lot of hope at certain points.
Hmm.
Couldn't see how this was all going to come out for good, but by the end of the book, God has done something significant.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, what interested you in writing about a hero who is capable and respected? Because he's a confident deputy until he
Mhm.
gets shaken, right, deeply
Yeah,
by something, which we learn early on in the book. But
yeah.
yet he carries this hidden vulnerability. So what drew you to that?
I love complex characters. When
Mm,
I read a book and it's just kind of cookie cutter and there's no like, ooh, what's their secret? What's their, what's going to trip them up? I don't like a real flat character. I love somebody that you can dig into and find some good and find some trouble and
mhm.
just a complex character. So
Yeah.
I
He,
really focused on bringing that out.
and he definitely is one. He definitely is.
He is.
Yeah. So
He is.
this is not a spoiler because you learn early on in the book that he can't read, which
Yeah.
is very tender and a very powerful part of the story. So,
Mm.
what drew you to have that struggle in a historical setting, right?
Well, first of all, my educational background for 2 years, I taught first grade, and you teach kids to read. And I remember one child just didn't get it, just
Mhm.
didn't get it at all, no matter what I did. And of course, I blamed it on myself, but I always wondered, did he ever read? Did he ever? And I know that he got help
Yeah,
and assistance. He was dyslexic. Um, but that just it troubled me so much that not everybody gets it,
yeah.
especially all at the same time. I mean, that's fluky if they do. But that, and then there was a picture book in 2004 written by Amy Hest, who is an author that I met as a librarian, bringing in
Yeah.
people to speak. Um, and she wrote a wonderful picture book called Mr. George Baker. I wrote it down just to, yes, Mr. George Baker. I was like, oh, it does say Mr. Right. Yes, Mr. George Baker, 100-year-old man who was going back to school to learn to read.
Oh,
Yeah. And
oh,
I thought that is powerful. I think I read it to every kid in that school, but just so powerful. And how in the world did he get along this many years
mhm.
without being able to read? And so anyway, that's always been perking in my mind
Mm,
is that problem. So I really wanted to address it, and I didn't decide to make that something that Rab dealt with until I was working on Seeds of Hope. And I was like, I really hope I set that up in What Brings Us Joy. That's the trouble
It is.
with a series is
Yes.
got to make sure that you
Yep.
set this up. So I went back and I made sure, and because of the kind of character he is, he gets other people. He's charming, and he thinks of a world of excuses to get somebody else to do his work,
Mhm.
to do, the reading. And so anyway,
Yeah.
it worked. And I was really, really glad for that. I've had people tell me that means so much because nobody talks about that.
Yeah. They don't.
Yeah.
They really don't. And especially back in those days, right? It wasn't something you talked about.
Right. I don't think you talked about it, and it wasn't uncommon,
No, not at all.
especially earlier. But if you were in a job that demanded that you read, which he is now, then of course you can read.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the sticky situation for him was we don't go around and ask people, can you
Yeah.
read? I'll give you this job as long as you can read. We take it for granted.
Granted, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the situation he's in when when he gets shaken. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
He gets all shaken up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Sallie because people wanted to know, how is
Mm-hmm.
she doing? Because she's recovering from a situation that left both physical and emotional scars. So, how do you approach writing a heroine who's trying to step back after trauma?
Well, that was tricky
Hmm.
because I mean, well, I've never been through anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, so I had to do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
I had to um, listen to people on YouTube talk about being burned and being scarred, and um, just kind of think, well, where would I be
Yeah.
if this had happened to me? How would I react? And how would the people around me react? Because that really plays into her struggle also is how do people around her, how will people accept her?
Hmm.
And she's got somebody in her life that is pretty negative about, oh, everybody's going to talk and gossip, and that does not help. So anyway, I just really had to put myself in her place, which is what we do as authors anyway, but a little extra.
I always think that authors are like the most well-rounded people you could find. Like, I mean, seriously, if you had call a friend for, who wants to be a millionaire, I would say call an author because odds are they've done some
It's
research on
true.
a little bit of everything, right? And
Yes,
and
yes.
they've done it on a little bit of everything, but they've done it deep because they have
Yeah,
to, right? So
yeah.
that's just my advice to anybody listening. If you want to call a friend, be a
That's
millionaire,
right.
call an author. Make sure your
Get
friend
to
is
know an
author.
author, and then when you need something, need to know something, call them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about her Sally's love of gardening and her dream of teaching children. Because that's central to her story. What
It
inspired
is.
that part of your book?
The teaching part of it, I mean, I
Yeah.
was a teacher. I
Yeah.
loved being a teacher. I still love teaching.
Hmm.
Not necessarily kids anymore, but
Yeah.
I love teaching Bible studies. I just love that. So that, once again, born of a love of mine. And then gardening is so not me. I mean, so not me.
Again, add it to the
I
list
mean,
of things that
Amy English is a wonderful person to have as your content editor because she wrote me a note. If I am a gardener
she is a
and
gardener. You're right.
and I can help you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, so obviously I got things wrong.
Yeah.
My things that I struggle with were, and once again, I did my research, but
Yeah.
I'm not a gardener. And she said, yeah, usually for this vegetable, this time. It's going to take this long. So you go look at your timeline there. So
Yeah.
she was a godsend in many ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, both my editors were Paula Peckham too. Just wonderful editors.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway.
I, yeah. See, I would never make it in a historical setting like that. That's why I write contemporary, 'cause I would never survive because I can't cook, I can't sew, I can't garden. I mean, I would be useless to a husband at
I know.
1800. I mean, really, I'm pretty
Well,
useless to what I have now.
but the most powerful thing that keeps me, like when I was a little girl, I was like, oh, I just want to be back in the 1800s and wear these long dresses. Can you imagine how hot that would
I
be?
can't
And
even.
they did not have AC. And Leanna and I both live in Texas, so it gets super hot. Oh
It,
my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah. So that the cooking, yeah, it would have been a big old job, but
Yeah.
AC. Wow.
I know, right?
How'd they do it?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I know.
I can't even begin to imagine how difficult
Mm-mm.
it is. When the power goes out and I have no air conditioning, I am a grumpy gut. So yeah.
Yeah. Or just walking down the street.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't take it.
I know. I hear you. I hear you. Yep. So let's talk about the relationship between the two of them, right? Because we talked a little bit about Rab, talked a little bit about Sallie,
Mm.
but their relationship grows as they begin to truly see one another. So, what did you enjoy most about developing that romance between them?
Well, in the first book, and what brings us joy, Sally lets Delia know that really she doesn't say I have a crush on Rab, but she's like, do you think do
Mm.
you think he'd have, somebody like me? And she wears glasses and she's very self-conscious about that, but seeing is a good thing, so
Yes,
she
it
wears
is.
the glasses. um and so that longing for him, I I really wanted to resolve that. And maybe that's a question readers have also is she ever going to love somebody else, or is he going to pay attention to her? And he does. That's obvious, even though it doesn't happen immediately. But what draws his focus to her
Mhm.
is her heroism in a really bad situation, and what brings us joy, and what led to her injuries. And he truly admires her. He just thinks she's a very, very fine person and so brave.
Mm.
And she, on the other hand, is like, well, what else was I going to do? I mean, that's not really brave. And she is very self-deprecating.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I really liked bringing them together. But
Mhm.
again, it's tricky
Yeah.
because at what point is too soon?
Mm.
What point is too late?
Right?
So yeah, but that's good. It stretched me, and I hope it works.
Yeah. Well, we know, it does have a happy ever after. So we
Yeah.
have to have that happy ever after. We'd be like, no,
Yes,
why can't they be together? Although
that's right.
there are some stories where the love's interests don't get together and for different reasons, and that's okay. But
Yeah,
we're hoping and rooting for them, right? That's what we're doing. Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so why Blooming Grove, Texas, and why 1896?
Okay, so the date is a lot easier to answer than the place.
Okay.
And I've had that question a ton. Um, okay, so the date. I love that in the late 1800s, the turn of the century time period, all of a sudden they've got technology coming in these waves. They've got the car, they've got it is, I mean, Blooming Grove sure doesn't have a car at this point, but cars are being made and experimented with, and by like 1910, 1914, cars are more commonplace, I'll say.
Mm,
Electricity,
mm,
telephones, but in a rural environment, they don't have those things.
yeah.
Those are in Dallas or Houston or the big cities,
Right.
St. Louis, whatever. But it's just fascinating to me that they could go so many years without this influx of a change in technology
Hmm.
with the various things. That fascinates me. And how did they cope with that? And that's just always been a question. My mom told me, and she grew up in a very rural town in the more western side of Texas.
Hmm.
Um, she said she remembers, and she thinks it was in the 1940s because she was born in 36. She remembers telephone poles gradually
Hmm.
being being put in the ground and coming out to their farm.
Oh, wow.
And I mean,
Can you
that's
imagine?
to have lived through seeing, oh, we're gonna get a phone. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
I
And
know.
of course it was party lines and
Yeah.
anyway.
I think about my
Yeah.
grandmother who died. I can't remember when she died, but she was 93 when she died. And
Yeah.
just think of all the things that she saw come to pass in those
Yes.
3 years. I mean,
Yes.
television and telephones and color
Right.
TV and, just all sorts of stuff. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's
It
amazing,
is crazy. It is
right?
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly, truly is.
Yeah.
You love research and you did a lot, right? Because
Oh
you've
yeah.
got so much about law enforcement and education, ranching. What kind of research
Yeah.
did you do, and what did you find that was very surprising or interesting to you?
I did a lot of online researching, but that only goes so far. And then you're like, but I've still got this question
Yeah.
that's not been answered yet. And
How can you just call
I'm
somebody up, go, hey, what
dug
did
as far.
you do?
That's when I need to call an author, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that phone a friend.
That's right. But there's one book. This is the most surprising thing, I think. And Texas is known to be just wild and woolly, and now I know why.
Mhm.
There's one book, and I've read more than one book, but it's called "How to Get Away with Murder in Texas,"
Oh,
and it's talking about the, way past my time period for all of this, so the 1800s, and how law was, pretty subjective. And man, if you stole a horse, we're gonna hang you up. And mob justice was a very real
wow.
thing. Lynch mobs, very real, because you're taking away their livelihood.
Yeah.
But if you murdered your next door neighbor, well, you know,
They probably deserved
he
it.
probably deserved it. Yes. And so people got off all the time on murder.
Wow.
And yet, steal a horse, steal a cow, and yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're paying for that. However, we decide that you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed. I
Yeah.
thought, good grief,
Yeah. Well,
there's no,
people are still getting away with murder today.
I
It's something
know
that hasn't
they
changed.
are, they are, they are, yes.
They are.
So yeah, that was just really interesting,
How
and
did you find the book, How to Get Away with Murder in Texas?
you just do a deep dive on Amazon.
Really?
If you like this book, then, and then you go and look at that book. And if you like that book, then, I mean, truly
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
dive. And then Abe Books, Thrift Books, all of those places that I don't know if they're brick and mortar. If so, they're far away from me.
Hmm.
So I order these old, out of print books.
Yeah.
And sometimes they come to me and they don't smell real good,
Mhm.
but, which is a little disturbing. I'm like, maybe I can just copy this because it is definitely mildewed.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
so that's the downside. But I am not averse to spending a little money
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Make it,
getting things that are out of print.
yeah. Well, you want to get it
Also, there,
right.
pardon.
I said you want to get it right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. And another resource that I love is to look at old newspapers.
Mm,
And that's why my chapters begin with old, little blurbs from newspapers of the time, because usually they were very slanted,
hmm.
and sometimes they were a little bit funny. Sometimes they were like, oh, just very dramatic. But they're telling the perspective of an eyewitness.
Yeah.
And either, well, I mean, not always eyewitness. The maybe the first reporter on the scene is an eyewitness, and then it went out kind of in syndication
Yeah.
to different newspapers. But that's that's a really really cool way to research, because you get their slant, even though the journalism is slanted, but still people followed that line of thinking.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It is a treasure trove of the time period. The downside to that is you are like right there, right that day. So sometimes they don't tell the backstory, and
Mm,
this is why this is important to us,
right.
because last year you don't get that. So you still got to have those books as resources,
Sure.
or the portal to Texas history,
Mm,
the websites that specialize in telling, here's the bird's eye view of this, and then you go dig deeper.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think readers truly understand the level of commitment and dedication we as authors make to make sure we're getting it right. And I think
yeah.
especially for historical readers, they will
Mm.
catch you
Oh
if you
yeah.
haven't done your research, right?
Yes,
So, I
yes.
mean,
They will.
they will definitely. They'll tell you that the hat was wrong for the period or the dress was wrong for the period, or
Right.
that word didn't come into use until this year, and so you can't be using it in your historical book, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so
And thanks to one of my editors, I she caught a few of those words and was like, yeah, that didn't come into usage until this time period. And I was like, oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah. I mean, so
Okay.
many things. So if people
So
think
you,
it's just putting words on a page, this is letting you know it's not. There's so many other
no.
things we have to take into account as authors.
Yes. And that's part of why it takes so long to write a book.
Hmm.
Because you're writing along and then you're like, wait a minute, I'm not sure that's realistic. And then you have to stop and you have to go look, and
Yeah,
or write yourself a note to go look.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so you also asked me why Blooming Grove.
Yes.
That's the harder question to answer.
Is it a real place?
Um,
Was it a
yeah, it
real place?
is. It is. It was, and it is.
Okay.
And it was about 800 people at the time I'm writing about.
Okay.
It's still about 800 people. It looks a lot different,
Yeah,
but they don't have near the retail that they had at that time, because we have cars.
sure.
We go places to do our shopping for better prices. So they I can't I really can't remember how I decided on that place, except I like the name.
Mm.
It's just a pretty name.
It is a pretty name.
They have an interesting story because the railroad forced them to relocate the whole town
Oh,
one
okay.
mile. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That
fascinating
is
because
fascinating.
that's like that survivor grit.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, this tells me about the town. And then I really like the way the town is laid out. I another little research thing is there are maps. What are they called? I'm looking at the map of Blooming Grove right now. I don't know. It doesn't have a name, and of course I didn't write it down.
It's okay.
But it is a fire company's map of the town,
Hmm.
and it shows in a particular year. Usually it's like 5 year increments.
Hmm.
So in 1895, this was a brick building, and it is a pink
Oh,
color, and the
interesting.
other buildings are this, and here's where the railroad went through, and here are the mini cotton gins. There's like three in this little bitty town.
Wow. That's
What does
a,
that tell you about cotton?
yeah,
But
right.
all these little hints, you put them together and you go, okay,
Mhm.
okay, so cotton was a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, so I love the way the town is laid out. It's symmetrical.
Yes.
It
I like my hometown
makes
of
sense.
Lubbock. Streets, numbers,
Oh yeah,
right? And then the
yes,
letters and everything's alphabetical. Just makes it easy. If I want to go to
it
4th
really
Street,
does.
I know exactly if I'm on 92nd, which way to go. There's
Right,
no guessing.
exactly,
I'm going
exactly.
that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. There's no wondering.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
love that.
70th?
I like people who plan out cities. I really like that. Maybe I could have been what is that, a city engineer?
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Or maybe my
Yeah.
next character will be a city engineer. You just never
Well,
know.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the faith element because faith is woven through both Rab and Sally's journeys. What
Yeah.
spiritual theme rose to the surface? Obviously, hope, but were there any
Mhm.
others that rose to the surface as you wrote Seeds of Hope?
Um, just I don't want to say second chances, but it kind of is.
Hmm.
Redemption, maybe. Um, you've gotten yourself in a mess, whether it was your doing or just happened to you, this bad situation, and rising above that. Um, and God makes a way.
Mm-hmm.
Just God makes a way in the smallest and in the biggest things.
Yeah.
And, when I was doing this last read through, because that's also something that goes into a book is lots of read throughs
Yes.
to make sure that certain things line up. And in this last one, I was surprised at the different occurrences of faith elements because it's so much a part of, oh, I'm just putting the story down and you're in it.
Yeah. Right.
And then when you come back to it, it's like, oh, yeah. And I think it's just so much a part of me that
Mhm.
I I don't I don't think I can write a story without faith just because it uh
So
it's
woven
just
into
who
your
I am.
character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
just seeps out of you and it comes naturally.
Hmm.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, before we close out, and I want you to tell me what is it that you want readers to feel, do, what is it you want when somebody finishes Seeds of Hope? What is that you want from them as a reader?
I really okay, let me tell you a story about the first book and what happened. And I just thought that's what I want to happen in every book.
Okay.
There was one person that I haven't seen in a while, but friends,
Sure.
certainly Facebook friends. Um, but they moved away, and so we haven't really kept up. And so she reached out and she finished reading it, and she was almost in tears.
Hmm.
She said what Delia goes through in, such and such chapter, that's what I've been through.
Oh, wow.
And I can't tell you how powerful that was to me. And
Yeah.
and it blew me away because, I mean, that's everybody's dream, but I don't know. I was writing a book
Yeah.
and, you put everything in there, but man, that was just like, Lord, thank you so much that you touched her
Yeah.
in that, with that confirmation of, going through a really hard time
Yeah.
and um and his faithfulness,
Mm.
not to always make it a pretty little answer,
Right.
but to rise above it by his power.
Mm.
And that's what I want to happen in
Yeah.
every
Free
book I
book, right?
write.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I
It's
really, I
transformative.
really want to touch readers, in ways that I have no idea it's touching them.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just want him to work through me
Yeah.
in that way.
Oh, that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Well, before I let people know how to follow and connect with you, will you give us a spoiler-free hint about what's in book 3 and what the Truitts of Texas may be facing next?
Yeah. Well, it is Thomas's turn, and he is the older brother, and he has a much larger role in this book than he had in book 1.
Hmm.
And he's married.
Okay.
He marries at the end. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Oh.
Well,
Hey.
okay, but it's not a big major thing. But he marries at the end of book 1. So the romance. I don't know if it could be called a romance, but they're a married couple who are going through things that are pulling them apart and uniting them. And we moved from Blooming Grove. I
No.
know, up the street, 15 miles, and that was
Like a foreign
not where
country.
I know. It's like and it's the oil patch.
Mm,
So because at that time Corsicana struck oil,
yeah.
and it wasn't like Spindletop down your way in Beaumont where it was like a gusher and major dollars. But it was the first time that significant oil had been found in Texas.
Mm,
So, anyway, I'm looking forward to putting that out and seeing what people think. It is amazing. Going back to Blooming Grove, they're both in the same county, they're 15 miles apart. And Corsicana is like the big city,
yeah.
and it is the county
It
seat.
still is. Yeah.
Yes. And so many people will say, well, so what are you writing now? And I'll tell them, and they'll go, Corsicana? Are you kidding me? That's where, or that's where my friend is from, or that's where my husband is from. It's like everything leads back
Goes.
to Corsicana. And the whole reason I have this in Navarro County anyway goes back to my grandparents, not the ones with the crazy quilt, the other side of the family, my mom's side of the family, that when they came from Georgia and Tennessee, they stopped in Navarro County, in Kearns and Corsicana, and just various places.
Okay.
But that's why I centered on that particular county because I don't live there.
Yeah.
And it's about an hour and a half drive away, and I've been there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that little, wink to my ancestors, I guess.
I love how you are equal to your ancestors, right? You have over here and over there, and you're equal. So good for you.
That's right.
We don't want to cause any family trauma. Uh,
That's right.
that's great. All right. Well, it's been so much fun chatting with you, Teresa. Before I let you go, would you please tell our listeners and our watching audience how they can connect with you?
I have a Facebook page and I have an Instagram page, but the most important thing is my website, which is teresawells.com. And you'll find the links to all my social media, to my newsletter. I'd love for y'all to sign up to my newsletter. Um, so okay, do you want me to give the addresses? Because
Well,
I'm like,
no,
oh,
no, no. It's just,
good,
I'll link everything in the video notes.
good, good.
Yes, so
Okay,
you don't have to
great.
worry about that. So,
Yes,
so,
yes. And on Pinterest, I'm on Pinterest. And
yeah.
so,
So,
yeah,
well, yes, we want to make sure everybody connects. So, teresawells.com. We will have the link in the notes. So please be sure to connect with her, follow after her, because you're definitely going to want to read about this Truitt family. And you won't want to miss a single one of them. So please make sure. And please make sure to catch her newest book coming out
Yeah.
this month. And you'll be sure to and love it just as much as we've all loved book one. So thanks for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you with us as we chatted.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I love being with Teresa, and I hope that after this short time you have as well. But until next time, make sure you subscribe, like our channel, tell somebody about us, watch some of our other author videos where you can learn more about the story behind the story. And until next time, happy reading, everybody. We'll see you again.